Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. 3 pop positive after flying into the CNMI, but not on arrival. Also tonight, DPS chief storms out of budget confrontation talks. And a child beaten with a broom is dead. 2 women are behind bars. In sports, we go shopping for the big fishing derby. Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
Thank you for being here with us.
For finding ways to keep things happening.
For making things feel a lot better.
Thank you.
Energize, realize, feels so good just to be alive. Time's a gift, my time is free. I can spend it on you, you can spend it on me. I can say you'll be blown away by the change you see me. And I feel alright, dance all night, put a little flavor in my life.
Thank you for staying strong with us.
And for us.
Thank you for always connecting.
For keeping us together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us
that despite this distance,
we are still better together.
Every day, I put the good stuff in. No.
Docomo Pacific, better together.
Jose and Pedro were born on the very same day. Jose liked to play sports. Pedro liked to play video games. Jose's favorite word was pass. Pass me the ball. Pedro's favorite word was pass too. Pass me the rice. Jose is retired and has both time and energy. His life is just beginning. Pedro has diabetes, hypertension, and gout. His life could soon end. Eat less, play more, live longer. Brought to you by PHI, the pharmacy you can trust.
Alpha Day Tirawami and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. 3 new COVID cases confirmed last night after a follow-up test. On July 9th, 3 travelers were tested on arrival at the Saipan International Airport, and authorities say they initially tested negative. They were then escorted to Kanoa Resort and stayed until their scheduled 5th-day test. That test came back positive. Authorities say they are isolated at the Kanoa Resort and are being closely monitored. CHCC has already initiated contact tracing for the most immediate contacts. Of the total 36 confirmed cases, 13 cases have been identified through port of entry screening procedures. Is it who you know, what you know, or when you know? As Salinas reports, DPS Chief Robert Guerrero flees the scene of a Capitol Hill budget meeting after being placed directly in a verbal line of fire.
Some tension during this morning's budget hearing as Representative Tina Sablon questions Public Safety Commissioner Robert Guerrero about nepotism.
Mr. Commissioner, there have been some concerns raised from within your department and as well as from constituents about nepotism in hiring. And it is our understanding that you have, or your department has hired 2 of your sons, a brother, multiple nieces and nephews. Are you directly involved in the hiring of your family members?
No.
Can you explain how that happened?
Which particular case are you referring to?
When your family members have been hired since you came on board, what is the process?
Only one was
How do
hired
you
when I was on
recruit
board.
yourself?
Only one was transferred when I was on board. And I did not take part in any of his transfer. I just told you, he was transferred from OPM, an LPM from Commerce. Number 1. Number 2, I was not part of the process. I recused myself from it.
You did.
As a matter of fact, specifically, I don't allow any of my kids actually to come work for the department.
Okay, but don't you have 2 sons that work for the department?
I did not hire the first one, I just told you which department to understand.
I see. And what about your multiple
Hello?
nephews and your
We
brother?
will establish the quorum.
Mr. Chairman, if this is going to continue the way it is, we're done.
Mr. Commissioner,
What?
these are legitimate questions of public interest.
I just told you, you kept asking me. I just told you only one was transferred. The other two, my brother and my other son was hired before I came
So
aboard.
you don't have any other relatives that have been hired since the academies have been instituted, your nieces
Congresswoman,
and
half of these
nephews?
people here are my relatives. What do you say to that?
Guerrero repeatedly stated that his sons were not hired during his tenure and then proceeds to storm off. Officials took time to cool off and the hearing continued. Ways and Means Chairman Ivan Blanco.
The chair recognizes that the line of questioning from the Sablan do pertain to the budget. And appreciate that Commissioner Robert Guerrero and your team are here with us. We'll continue with the proceedings.
The allocation from the governor's revised budget is $4.8 million, which includes a full 86-hour work schedule for sworn-in officers. 10 police officers and 1 civilian has been furloughed. When questioned about the selection process, Guerrero says he bases it on 2 things.
Performance for one.
What do you mean by that?
How they perform to you. I mean, that's not, I need to elaborate what performance
Yes,
is.
please.
It's how they perform their duties. Loyalty is another.
Loyalty?
Yes.
Loyalty to?
To the department.
Sablan points out there is a civil service process which says seniority must be considered, but was not followed by the department. Currently, DPS has 213 employees, and 18 of them are under federal-funded positions. Considering a reduction of $2 million from previous budget, Guerrero says they are working hard to cut costs, but at the same time, provide tokens for their officers.
Please, I ask, if you have issues with the department, come to us and talk to us. Okay? My doors are always open to you. My doors are open to my officers and to the employees.
Reporting for KSPN News, I'm Sally Limis.
2 local women remain in custody after the death of a child. Authorities believe the 3-year-old was beaten with a broomstick. The 3-year-old boy's mother, 44-year-old Lynn Fitiel, and her relative, 36-year-old Stacy Laney Lenizo, were arrested last Friday on charges of child abuse or neglect, with bail set at $25,000 each. Court documents state on March 16, 2020, the child was pronounced dead by Dr. Rodney Klassen due to sudden cardiac arrest. Upon further observance, injuries were discovered on the boy's body that were consistent with abuse, showing scratch marks on the left leg, healed scars on the face, bruises on the back and spinal area, stitch marks on the upper left forehead and back of the head, and the lower lip was split. On March 19th, a family member told investigators that Stacy, who lives in the same household, had beat the child with a broomstick days before he died. Court documents say during an interview with officers, Stacy described the child as, quote, having no fear and being very naughty, and that she spanked him with a tree branch to discipline him. The boy's cousin said in a forensic interview the child had been sick and coughing and vomiting for more than 2 weeks and complaining of pain in his stomach. An autopsy was performed showing the cause of death was due to obstruction of the airway from illnesses that were far advanced. Dr. Klassen stated in a follow-up interview on June 11th that the boy was dead upon arrival to the ER. He had no heartbeat and was not breathing, along with a locked jaw, giving signs that would be evident to any parent about the child's illness. A bail modification is scheduled for tomorrow, July 16th, for Stacy Lani Lanizo. It's the moment many have been waiting for: the distribution of the PUA and FPUC checks. Governor Ralph Torres says he has been in communication with Department of Labor Secretary Vicky Benavente and states they are looking to start administering PUA and FPUC checks later this week.
There's some applications that has been completed, and I hope that there's several hundreds that will be hopefully processed by this Friday, and then a couple more thousand hopefully by next Friday. I did talk to her about some of the processing issue, and quite a few applicants that are incomplete. and I do know that they are trying their best to get this out as soon as they can. So I think that they'll be processing some checks hopefully by this Friday, if not sooner.
IPI is back in court this week as they attempt to recover a $100,000 deposit from the Mango Resort.
IPI has sued Blue Lagoon Realty and Life Care Center International. IPI says Gene Eagle Oden is the sole shareholder and is the director and officer of both Blue Lagoon and Life Care. IPI, who is represented by Sean Frank, Marianas Legal Strategy Group, says in June of 2015 they entered into 3 rental agreements for Mango Resort, Mango Suites, and Mango City. IPI says they paid $1.1 million in advance for a year of rent at these 3 properties. They also say they paid a $100,000 utility deposit. IPI wants that deposit back. They say the rental agreement expired in August of 2016 and that with nothing due remaining, they want their money back. They are asking for 100% of liquidated damages as well as attorney's fees and court costs. Blue Lagoon has answered the complaint and says they are entitled to withhold the deposit because the plaintiff damaged the property in an amount excess to the deposit. Oden says they had a verbal agreement for additional space and additional rent and that the apartments were rented fully furnished, which included sheets, cookware, pillows, and furniture. He also says that after Typhoon Soudelor, they incurred extra costs by opening a deep well to provide water to IPI employees and that they provided about $47,000 worth of water. He also says that IPI vacated the premises late and left the properties locked and in a state of chaos. Blue Lagoon is asking for their own damages for non-payment of utility bills, overstaying, and damage to the property. Parties were in front of Judge Govendo this week. The next court date is scheduled for August the 10th.
Next on the Channel 2 News, come alongside for a wild journey up to the Northern Islands.
Hi, I'm Thelma, a certified ophthalmic assistant here at Marianas Eye Institute.
One of the most common eye problems is dry eyes, but the symptoms can sometimes be confusing.
So frequently people will come to me and tell me that their eyes are watering all the time, and I'll tell them, oh, you've got dry eye. And they'll say, how can it be dry when they're watering all the time? Your job is usually a very good predictor of how much aggravation this will cause you. If you're staring at a computer screen, if you're doing a lot of reading, your blink rate slows down, and now, because your eyes are open more often, they dry out quicker, and the problem then gets aggravated. If you're under a ceiling fan or air conditioning, that also will aggravate the underlying problem in which the eye would then start to water. So you can actually have a wet, dry eye. The treatment, lubrication.
This has been Dr. Dennis Williams of the Marianas Eye Institute.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. When you are hundreds of nautical miles away from a population center, life can get interesting. Add in volcanoes, uninhabited islands, the unpredictable Pacific Ocean, and changing weather systems, and you quickly get all the adventure you might ever want. Our Chris Nelson reports.
With it being so dark and the wind cranking, I mean, we're constantly taking waves over the bow. And I've got Governor Torres on the boat with me, and I told him, I said, Gov, lay down and go to sleep. I got this. I told everyone on the whole boat, just freaking close your eyes and go to sleep. And I just stayed on it, and stayed on it.
Outdoorsman and YouTube content creator Robert Arrington and his wife Sarah are back in Saipan after an adventure with Governor Torres in the Northern Islands. Saipan has turned into a base of sorts. Originally, they were scheduled to go from here to the FSM, Palau, and then on to the Philippines. COVID-19 has changed that. They will instead spend more time here creating content in the Marianas. Tinian and Goat Island are scheduled in the coming days. YouTube content is a full-time job for Arrington, who has over 3 million subscribers to his YouTube channel, Deer Meat for Dinner. He grew up hunting and fishing in Florida and has also spent many years in the Pacific, including 15 years in Fiji. His wife, Sarah, grew up in a hunting family in Wisconsin. The couple has 2 children who are also traveling with them.
You've done all these adventures. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like your life was in danger?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Driving from Pagan to Mog, that was a very, very serious situation. After 3 or 4 days in Pagan, Sarah and my children and several of the other ladies, they stayed in Pagan, and myself, Governor Torres, and a team left, headed north, and went past Agrigan, went all the way on up to Mog.
So he left, and it was me, Jesse, and the girls. And that night, we would get rain every afternoon, kind of like Florida. That night, I woke up to the most crazy storm coming. I could hear it coming in the distance, and I'm looking outside, and all you see, it's silhouette. So you see the volcano, that's what I was looking at. And everything comes from behind the volcano, where we were. And so all of a sudden I saw this wall of dark.
I was running the boat in complete darkness with heavy, heavy wind, giant lightning storms all around. And probably the single most amazing sight in my head that I will never forget in my life was running the boat, and because it's in complete darkness, it's virtually impossible to keep it on a straight route. But I knew that I had to keep the waves on my starboard bow. As long as I kept the waves on my starboard bow, that meant I was going in the right direction. And about every 5 or 10 minutes, lightning would light up, and I could see El Sinchon. And it was just seeing that, you'd see that beautiful, perfect volcanic look, and it would, I'll never forget that in my life. At night now, I lay there and I sleep, and I'll just see it, just the lightning shining on it.
Did you get any shots of that? Is that
impossible? It was such a, you can't make any mistakes there. You have to be ultra focused. You've got all of your friends' lives on board. You know what I mean? So I wasn't worried about video or really pictures or anything.
So the guys
very, very rough. Yeah, very, very rough, very, very dark. And
so you get there early in the morning?
So we left the afternoon before. We traveled all night. Just as it was getting daylight, we could see the 3 islands of Mog in the distance. And I actually had the honor of driving the boat through the channel, and we found a real big seamount right in the middle of Mog, anchored the boat up, stored everything away, just got situated. We even jigged up a couple coral trout right there, and made our plans for the next 3 days.
You guys, there was a boat that was at least part of the expedition, I think, that sunk or had some problems at Alamagan.
So this is what happened. When we left, Senator Hokok was with us, and his shadow boat was a 25-foot cat. As we were heading north, we were doing approximately 10 knots. As we're heading north, let's say we were halfway there, about 100 miles to Pagan. That boat started experiencing problems. It was a fuel issue. One of the motors shut down. So they said, okay, we've got it straight, and they started following us. Well, at some point, they veered off and headed towards Alamagan. When it got daylight, we're like, oh my gosh, where are they? They're not there, and they never radioed us. So we made a decision, continue to Pagan, and then we will figure it out. We got to Pagan, Coast Guard and DPS was signaled. They found that boat in Alamagan. So once they got to Alamagan, DPS ran over, met with them, and next thing you know, somehow the boat took on water and sank.
During the expedition north, 4 sandbar deer were released on the island of Pagan. Arrington answers questions about that in our next installment. Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News.
As Chris mentioned, in the coming days, we will take an in-depth look at the reliefs of sandbar deer on Pagan. We will hear from Robert Arrington, a concerned lawmaker, and Governor Torres.
Get on better internet plans with the strongest internet from Docomo Pacific. With whole home Wi-Fi, it's the better way to work, play, and surf at home with the fastest download and upload speeds in the CNMI. Your better internet comes with the free Plume SuperPod for the strongest and safest Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home. Sign up today for as low as $50 a month and get a free smart tablet. Better value for your best connection. Because in everything we do, we are always better together.
We are with you. At times when you need us most, you can count on us to be there. When you need someone to talk to. When you need to stay informed. When you need to brighten your day. When you need to stay connected. We are here keeping our promise that while the world is changing, we keep working so you can keep connecting. We are your Docomo Pacific family, and we are here to help.
Buenas sports fans. Buenas sports fans, with the big derby coming online July 25th, KSPN2 Sports Department Division of Procurement and Supply went to Fish and Tackle, a 44-year-old establishment located in the belly of Susupe, hunting for lures for Pacific blue marlin.
What's a marlin's favorite color? Well, it depends. George Badalata. He works at Fish and Tackle. He knows anglers are looking for that perfect color. All right, what are the popular colors?
Popular colors, it depends, no? Sometimes they looking like a little bit like these dark colors. Sometimes a little bit bluish like that.
So it changes?
Yeah, it depends on the area.
The area, what do you mean by the area? Like
sometimes location, like because you know the marlin is different species also, right?
Yeah.
The family of marlin different colors, right? So sometimes they said in location, sometimes the different color they like to chase.
Okay.
That's why they have a different color.
Okay. Marlin's not the only money catch at the Saipan Fishermen's Annual Tournament. So is wahoo. But to catch that, think a different lure.
Wahoo is a little bit special setup, especially the line.
Show
they
me.
Use a wire. For example, like this. This kind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, this wire. Because you know the teeth of wahoo is like a scissor. Sometimes the one time catch, they said, your lure, they cut only in half. Sometimes that's it. You need another one again. That's the way the catch of wahoo.
We go from creatures of the deep to the creatures of the shallow.
We're gonna divide our class into two so that it's not too overwhelming and we're not too close. So with these girls, maybe I'll have these girls all together and all these boys and parents can be on one side too if you guys like. You guys parents are welcome to stick around. You guys can also ask questions and learn if you guys are interested, okay? Alright, so let's go. Let's do form two lines. One with Donovan and one with Faith. We'll have the girls with Donovan and we'll have the boys with Faith. How's that?
Wonderful.
Did you get that ball?
I got it. Saturday afternoon, Joe 10 Public Library staff, as part of their summer program, introduced boys and girls to one of the favorite fishing methods here. Erlinda Cabrera Napati, whose family has a rich fishing heritage, explains.
We wanted something outdoor for the kids, and we thought about teaching the kids how to teaching the kids how to learn the talaza, and that way they can do something outdoor, and at the same time, hopefully, to instill something in them to carry on throughout their adulthood life.
Donovan demonstrates the art and skill of talaza.
Yeah, the first thing that you do is stretch the net. Stretch it, fold it, stretch it, and make sure it's up to your waist. Then fold it. Then you grab the end of the net, put it under or over your shoulder. Then you grab the other end of the net and half it. Make the weight equal in the bottom. Once it's equal, you all set the show. Then all you do is turn. Good.
Wow!
Now it's the girls' turn.
Lift your body and let it go.
Yep. Ada, you open
Get it.
it. Yeah.
Pull it in, see what you get. Okay. Oh! Tremendous. All right, got it. Wait. Got to pull it in. Maybe you got something here. Pull it in. That was a great throw. First throw ever in your life, or you've been practicing? Were you practicing before you came here? Go slow.
Good job.
Nothing? Okay.
Good job, Lee.
Well, it's a good throw.
Good job.
Not your fault that there's no fish there. Well, no matter how skilled you are, you can't catch fish if there are no fish there. And there were no fish at that time at Civic Center Beach. So Talaza catch was Tanza. Meanwhile, off the shore, out of reach, small fish jumping, mocking everyone on the beach. Apparently there are other ways, though, to catch fish.
She can catch fish for me.
Did deer eat fish?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to Master Angler Pete Rages. Just returned after 8 full days of fishing in the Northern Islands, catching a couple of beautiful sailfish on Norman and Kelly Tenorio's boat. Our Facebook Fish of the Week goes to Greg Camacho for the island favorite, a tulai. As they say, a tulai don't lie on the table for long. And the freshest Facebook Fish of the Week belongs to Zion Cabrera de Leon Guerrero. He'll be entering the 7th grade at Mount Carmel in the fall. You know, he's a potential grand prize winner in a future Saipan Marlin tournament.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw!
So what are you going to do this year? At Gold's, a dedicated fitness studio with a cushioned floor is perfect for group exercise. The cardio room features a variety of treadmills, bikes, steppers, and ellipticals. Fitness machines will help you achieve your goals, and the largest free weight area on Saipan gives you comfortable space to work out. Gold's Gym Team is ready to help you get to your goals. Try harder. We know you can do it.
Go-karts, off-roading, and the driving range now open at Marianas Trekking. Go-kart track will be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays with 50% off when you book online at marianastrekking.com, hours 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Use the promo code HAFA50 to get your discount. Off-roading is open too by reservation. Come on a 90-minute trail ride that is perfect for families. Book online at marianastrekking.com. Golfers, come practice on the driving range. You can even pay online, and we will have the balls waiting for you. Come see us weekends at Marianas Trekking, 323-8735.
Our high temperature today, 91, the low 82. Heat index 105. Humidity 63%. Tomorrow, about the same, partly cloudy, isolated showers, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. High 90, low 79, seas 3 to 5 feet. Sunrise 5:55 or triple nickels. Low tide 10:48 in the morning. High tide 5:47, followed by a sunset, a beautiful, glorious sunset at 6:51. And that is your news, sports, and weather. We'll see you back here on Friday night. Thank you for watching.